Well, hi everyone and listeners. This is season 2, episode 54, and we're doing our first OutKast Misheard song lyric. And the OutKast song that we're going to tackle today is Hey Yeah, and the Misheard song lyric is Shake it like a polar bear ninja. And the correct lyric is shake it like a Polaroid picture. Pretty close. So Hey Ya is a song performed by the American hip hop group OutKast, which features lead singer Andre 3000. And they were actually an American hip hop duo formed back in 1992, so wow, 28 years ago, in East Point, Georgia, that included Atlanta based rappers, as I'd mentioned, Andre 3000 Benjamin, formerly known as Dre, that I did not know, and Antoine Big boy spelled Boi, Patton. They both experienced critical and commercial success in the mid 1990s to the early 2000s, and they help the genre called Southern hip hop. They helped to popularize that, and they were good about experimenting with different genres such as funk, psychedelic, jazz, and techno. And the two, again, Benjamin, or aka Andre 3000, and Patton Big Boy, formed the group as high school students in 1992. So they've been around for a long time, and they actually released their debut album called, let me see if I can say it, Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, all one word, in 1994, which gained popularity after the single Players Ball. It actually reached #1 on the Billboard Hot Rap Tracks chart. And then they had successful releases including AT Aliens in 1996 and Aqua Mini in 1998. And the duo further developed their sound, experimenting with a variety of styles and achieving commercial success. So no, the song's not about any, Polaroid bear or polar bear ninja, but how awesome would that be if it was? Okay, so but it is about Polaroid pictures, and we'll go into that in a little bit. And then in 2000, OutKast released the critically acclaimed Stankonia, which includes the single Miss Jackson and B.O.B. That's I'm sorry, Miss Jackson. Woo! And apparently that song, Miss Jackson, was an ode to his breakup with his baby mama, Erykah Badu, with whom they both had a son named Seven Sirius Benjamin back on November 18th, 1997. So wow, this November he'll be 23. Their relationship ended back in 1999, and in late 2000, OutKast again released that Miss Jackson song, and it not only did very well, which of course was inspired by Erykah Badu and her mother. It reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 at that time and won a Grammy Award. So there you go. Again, write what you know. Then in September of 2003, OutKast released the double album Speaker Box / The Love Below, which featured the #1 singles Hey Ya and The Way You Move. And the album actually won the Grammy Award for Album of the Year and was certified diamond by the Recording Industry Association of America, or known as RIAA. And OutKast then released a soundtrack for a 2006 musical film Idlewood, which they also starred in. And in 2007, the duo went on to hiatus, and both members have since pursued solo careers. The only time they reunited was back in 2014 when they celebrated their 20th anniversary by performing more than 40 festivals worldwide, beginning at the Coachella Festival in April. And apparently the duo is one of the most successful hip-hop groups of all time, having received 6 Grammy Awards, and Rolling Stone actually ranked them #7 on the list of the 20 greatest duos of all time. Between 6 studio albums and a greatest hits release, OutKast has sold over 25 million records. Not bad, right? So let's talk a little more about the song's video, and some things I didn't know about, which I wanted to share with you guys. Again, nothing to do about a polar bear ninja, but I'm hoping. So Hey Ya was released by LaFace Records as one of the 2 singles from the duo's 5th album. Again, I mentioned Speaker Box, and Box has 3 X's / The Love Below. And if LaFace sounds familiar to you, LaFace was a record company that was formed back in 1989 as a joint venture between the producing duo of Antonio L.A. Reid and Kenneth Babyface Edmonds. And what happened was, and Arista Records, which was eventually absorbed through Arista and later RCA Records, so LaFace is no longer. The track became a commercial success, reaching #1 in the US, Australia, Canada, Norway, and the Swedes in Sweden. So the writing and recording of it. So Andre 3000 actually wrote Hey Ya back in 2000, but began working and recording it in December of 2002. So that's 2 years at the Stankonia Studios in Atlanta, Georgia. So hence the name of one of their records as well. He actually used an acoustic guitar for accompaniment, and it was inspired by bands of the Ramones, the Buzzcocks, the Hives, and the Smiths. So totally different genres from this Southern, rock or this Southern hip hop that they made popular at the time. And then Andre 3000 recorded the introduction, the first verse, and the hook, and began recording the vocals during this time, doing several dozen takes, so over and over until they got it right. He returned on the work of the song several evenings later with session musician Kevin Kendricks performing, they said, the bass line and the synthesizer. And then months later, Andre 3000 worked with a Pete Novak at the Larrabee Studios in LA, and they experimented with various sound effects, even including singing through a vocoder, is that what they say, and did about 30 to 40 takes for each line. That's a lot of work, but of course, Andre 3000 wanted it perfect. So let's go talk about the iconic music video. It looks kind of familiar, right? So the song's music video was directed by a gentleman by the name of Brian Barber. And conceptually, he wanted to feel like how when the Beatles, Paul McCartney's song Coming Up, but it's also based on the Beatles' landmark appearance at the Ed Sullivan Show back in February 9th, 1964, although it's the flip-flop of it, with OutKast performing their landmark appearance in London. So it's U.S. going to London. And the beginning of this, and the beginning and end of the video blend with those of the song, The Way You Move, so the two can be watched in either order. And The Way You Move / Hey Ya video combined both clips with bridging sequence was released on the OutKast The Videos DVD. So if you have it, you can look at it and see what I'm talking about. And so the music video director, Barber, showed the footage to Andre 3000 saying, hey, I think this doing an iconic kind of homage to the British invasion with the Beatles with this idea, and maybe using a fake American band, which they eventually called The Love Below, became popular on this British television program. And so what happened was the music video was filmed in 2 days back in August of 2003 on a sound studio at Universal Studios in LA. Who hasn't been to Universal Studios? I have. And the cast included more than 100 women. I would say 100 screaming women, because if you watch the video on YouTube, it's just tons of women, just kind of dressed like back in the 60s, kind of recreating the British invasion, but to this fake, The Love Belows. And what the big did you know is each of Andre's 3000 parts, because he plays every band member, was shot several times from different angles, and he performed the song 23 times. That's 2-3 times during the course of filming. And because releasing Hey Ya as a single was a last-minute decision, Andre did not have any time to choreograph all the parts, and all the dancing was improvised. So pretty good for just figuring it out, but doing it 23 times. So Ice Cold 3000 sequence was the first to be filmed, and resulting in the characters very energetic. So he's very excited because it's the first part of the 23 times to sing it, to the last of Johnny Vultures, where Andre is so exhausted, he's sitting on a stool with those sequences. And for some of you very good music video lovers, the video also has some similarities to the video of Phil Collins' Two Hearts, where Collins plays all the band members as well. So same kind of idea. And in the video, like I said earlier, Andre plays all of the different 8 members of this fictional band called The Love Below. So he's a keyboardist known as Benjamin Andre. He's bassist Possum Aloysius Jenkins. He's vocalist Andre Ice Cold 3000. Drummer Dookie Blossom Gain III. 3 backup vocalists, the Love Haters, which I love in their total, they look like the jockeys on horses, and guitarist Johnny Vulture, which I shared earlier. He was so tired by that time, he was already sitting on a stool. And the video opens with the band's manager, Antoine, aka Big Boy, talking to Ice Cold and Dookie backstage. And meanwhile, the television presenter, which I had to look at again because I didn't recognize him, he looked familiar, but he looked different, was portrayed by Reese Witherspoon's ex-husband, Ryan Phillippe. And apparently there was another version where he's a little bit more energetic, but he's in the video trying to calm the crowd of screaming girls on a show being broadcasted live in black and white. So he's, in a sense, kind of playing the Ed Sullivan of this fake video. Afterwards, he introduces the band and they start performing while girls in the audience scream loudly. One girl is carried off by security and rushing the stage, another faints. And the one part of that I love too is there's a family shown dancing to the broadcast at home when Ice Cold instructs listeners to shake it like a Polaroid picture, or in my case, Polar Bear Ninja. Some of the girls begin taking pictures and shaking them. And then Ice Cold dances with one of the girls on stage, and the video closes with several friends of the band watching and discussing the performance. So lots of stuff to see here, lots of cool things. And of course, with that song and that cool iconic video, it did quite well. So Hey Ya was successful in North America, first charting on the week of October 18th back in 2003 at number 57 on the Billboard Hot 100. 3 weeks after their other top single, The Way You Move, debuted, which was at 25 at the time. So they had two of them on the Billboard 100. And then Hey Ya then topped the Hot 100 for 9 weeks from December 13, 2003 to February 7, 2004. The digital sales topped the Billboard Hot Digital Tracks for 17 consecutive weeks, because at that time digital sales were happening. And the song's time at number one bridged two eras, which I didn't know this, ending the Casey Kasem's second tenure as host of American Top 40 and beginning of the Ryan Seacrest tenure as host. So two different hosts. The Did You Know About It was, again, let's talk about the Polaroid picture, which is also part of the Misheard lyric. So because of it, Polaroid was like, wait a minute, hearing about this lyric, they thought, this sounds gonna, is really popular. We should be part of this bandwagon and revitalize the Polaroid thing, because at that time you can imagine it was waning, their popularity. So because if those of you who are old enough to know, when you would take a Polaroid, you would shake it. Not too much though, because if it was too much, it will cause the film to separate prematurely and cause blobs of the final image. And if you don't do it so much, you hardly see the image. So even though the song is Shake It, Shake It, I mean, really, they were just using the whole popularity of the song of, hey, let's have people talking about Polaroids or using them again. So they being Polaroid, hired a Ryan Berger of the Euro RSCG advertising agency to work on behalf of Polaroid with OutKast. And so what they did was they're like, you know what, OutKast, we're going to sponsor your parties and distribute our cameras for free. So people will be using it. Very smart. OutKast made a deal to hold Polaroid cameras during some of its performances, also in the video. And to this day, Polaroid does not release sales figures at that time, but its public image, previously in decline with the growing popularity of digital cameras, was bolstered by this song. So way to go, Polaroid, for striking while it was hot. Last part is many covers of this song, you can imagine. But the interesting cover that I want to have a little snippet for you guys to hear is a really good one. So the best so far is a cover that was done back in 2006, so 14 years ago already, by a Matt Weddle, who's part of a folk band called Obadiah Parker. He performed an acoustic cover of the song at a local open mic night at Extreme, with an X, Bean Coffee in Tempe, Arizona back in 2006. And thanks for his friend who posted the video of the performance on YouTube, it quickly went viral. And the cover received international airplay and spawned many, what they said, copycat acoustic versions. It's beautiful. Take a listen. And as of taping of this podcast, the current YouTube video of Hey Ya's OutKast, or OutKast's Hey Ya, is at 8.4 million and rising. So still popular even in the 2020s. Hope you learned a lot. Sorry for those of you who thought it was about, again, a polar bear ninja. I'm sorry to burst your bubble, but it's not. It's about Polaroid pictures. But great song, and excited that we were able to do an OutKast Misheard song lyric. Please keep sending them in. I love it, guys. We're in season 2, episode 54, and keep singing those songs incorrectly. Bye.